The ceiling fan spun at full speed in the hospital ward, but YRN was still sweating. The doctor waited for 30 seconds, but when she didn't get any response from the stunned couple, she shrugged and went to attend to another patient. YRN slowly turned her head toward Taehyung. He was looking down, thinking deeply, and YRN could guess exactly what was going through his mind. They didn't even have the money to raise one baby, and here she was, pregnant with two. Ryan's heart turned cold with fear. What if he gave up on her? What if he sent her back to her parents? She swallowed hard, realizing her throat was as dry as a desert. She didn't even have the courage to call his name. Was he angry, or just upset? YN, Taehyung. She finally managed to call out. He slowly looked up at her and said something that made YN's eyes widen. Taehyung, did you see my skills? YN, 2 babies. I'm sure I could make 5 if I tried a little harder. YRN, you pervert, she muttered, turning away with a bright red face. Behind her, she heard Taehyung's warm, relieved chuckle. Desperation. For the first time in his life, Taehyung realized how heavy that word truly was. Today, he was desperate for a job, to earn money, to feed his little family. Although he had acted cool in front of YRN, deep inside, he was terrified. Now he was a father of 2. His responsibilities had doubled in just a few hours. But along with the responsibilities, his love for YRN and the babies had also increased. He was happy and excited that they were having twins, but at the same time, he was scared and worried about their future. So after taking YRN home from the hospital, he slipped out after she fell asleep, and right now, he was sitting in front of the manager of an amusement park. Manager, can you dance? The manager asked. Taehyung looked down and nodded a little. Manager, okay, show me some moves. Taehyung felt extremely embarrassed, but for his family, he danced in front of the unknown man. The manager nodded slowly. Manager, good, you can join from tomorrow, he said and pointed to a big teddy bear costume. Manager, you have to wear this and stand at our theme park's entrance. Entertain the kids with your dance moves. Your work hours will start from PM and end at 7 in the evening. Taehyung, thank you, sir. I'll be on time tomorrow. Taehyung opened the apartment door and walked inside, only to see YRN standing with a frown on her face. Her hands were resting on her waist. YN, where have you been? She asked, clearly pissed off. Taehyung, I went to look for a job. Her eyes softened immediately. YRN, did you find any? It's okay. Don't pressure yourself too much. I'm sure. Taehyung, I got a part-time job, he said, cutting her off. Her face lit up. YN, really? Where? Taehyung, in a theme park. YN, theme park. Taehyung, yeah, I just have to wear a big teddy bear costume and stand at the entrance. Her smile dropped. She looked at Taehyung with an expression full of guilt. YN, Taehyung, that's Taehyung. A job is a job, my love, and they'll pay me $80 per day. It's more than enough for now, he said with a smile, trying to reassure her. But YRN didn't buy it. She just looked sad, extremely sad. Taehyung was born with a golden spoon. He got everything he asked for, but now he was going to work as a mascot. Taehyung, hey, stop thinking so much. YN, Taehyung, you don't have to do it. Taehyung, I'm seriously not minding the job at all. It's good, and I'll be comfortable. YN, are you sure? Taehyung, 100%. Now, let's cuddle. I'm tired. I didn't even get a chance to talk with my babies. He held her hand and gently led her to the bed. Taehyung led YRN to the bed, gently guiding her until she was comfortably settled on her back, propped up with pillows. He then carefully lifted her shirt, revealing her still flat abdomen. He knelt beside the bed, his gaze fixed on the small bump that held their future. His fingers, usually so confident and quick, trembled slightly as he gently placed his hand on her tummy. A soft smile touched his lips, a mixture of awe and overwhelming tenderness. Taehyung, hello there, my little ones, he whispered, his voice a low, warm rumble. It's your Appa. I know you can't hear me yet, not really, but I wanted to say hello, and tell you how much I love you already. He leaned closer, his ear pressing gently against her skin, as if straining to catch the faint whispers of 2 tiny heartbeats. Taehyung, you two are going to be so loved, more than you can ever imagine, and you're going to have the most amazing yama in the world. She's strong and beautiful, and so kind. He shifted his hand, stroking YN's tummy with the lightest touch. Taehyung, don't worry about a thing, okay? App is going to work really hard. We'll make sure you have everything you need, and more. We'll go on adventures, we'll read stories, we'll laugh until our tummies hurt. He chuckled softly, a genuine, heartfelt sound. I just found a job. Actually, you might see Appa dressed as a big teddy bear sometimes. Don't be scared, okay? It's still me, just fuzzier. It's for you too. Everything is for you. He pressed a gentle kiss to her belly. Taehyung, be good for your Yama, okay? Don't give her too much trouble. She's working hard too, even though she probably won't believe me when I say that. He glanced up at YN, who was watching him with tears shining in her eyes. Taehyung, we're going to be a family, a big happy family, and I can't wait to meet you both. His heart swelled with a love so profound it almost hurt. He wasn't just talking to a bump, he was talking to his children, his future, and in that moment, all his fears melted away, replaced by an unbreakable resolve. Rex looked at his girlfriend, who was successfully breaking a pen, while thinking deeply. Rex, you're looking lost, he whispered in her ear, since they were currently in class. Annie, I'm worried about Y or N, she didn't come today. Rex, you're right, she fainted so suddenly, and we don't even know what happened to her. Annie, I don't even have her number. Rex, then let's go to her place after classes. Annie, do you know her address? Rex, nope, but I'm sure the dean knows. Annie, let's go to the dean then. She jumped up from her seat, forgetting she was in a class, and bumped her knees hard against the desk. She fell back onto the seat with a small scream, making everyone look at her. Teacher, Annie Rec, behave, the teacher snapped. Annie, sorry ma'am, she whispered. The dean looked at Annie and backed away a little. Dean, what makes you visit me, Miss Rec? He asked nervously. He was kind of scared of her, because last time she had almost burned his office down accidentally. Annie, sir, I want YN's address. Dean, Y or N? Rex, Y or N? Kim, the new transfer student. She fainted yesterday, so we decided to visit her and give her today's notes. Dean, that's so nice of you too. Go to Mrs. Ken. I'll tell her to give you her address. Rex, thank you, sir. They left, and the dean sighed in relief, but soon, he heard the sound of something breaking from outside, and Annie peeked back inside. Annie, sir, I accidentally broke your nameplate. I was about to run, but Rex told me to apologize, she said innocently. Dean, it's okay, just leave, he said quickly, waving his hand. Annie left, and the dean put his head in his hands. YN rested her elbow at the dining table, cupped her cheeks. She looked at Taehyung, who's trying to make lunch. YN, why didn't you go to classes? Taehyung, 'cause you're sick, he said, cutting very thick slices of vegetables. YN, exactly, I'm sick, so why are you skipping classes? Taehyung, I can't let you stay alone at home. YN, but when you'll go to work, I have to stay alone. Taehyung, that's why I'm worried. Will you go with me? YN, no, I'd rather stay at home and watch some movies. Taehyung, then call me if you need anything or feel sick. YN, I will. Will you please cut the vegetables a little thin? I'll be easy to boil then. Taehyung, I can't. This is the best I can. YN, move, let me try. She took the knife from him and started cutting the carrots. Just then the doorbell rang. Taehyung, I'll go and check. YN nodded and Taehyung went to open the door. Taehyung opened the door and saw a boy and a girl around their age. Rex, hi, does YN lives here? Annie, of course she does. Did you forget we saw this handsome boy with her yesterday? Rex, I know, but there's a word called formality. They whispered to each other, but it was clearly audible to Taehyung. Taehyung, I think you're her classmates. Please come inside. He stepped aside of both of them. Walk in. Everything was going well until Annie bumped with the tea table and make the flower vase stumble. But Rex was fast enough to catch it before it fall. Rex, everything is under control. Taehyung give them an awkward smile and walk inside the kitchen. Taehyung, we have visitors. YN, I heard it. They come to see me. I told you they're so sweet. Taehyung, and clumsy. YN, shh, they'll hear you. Rex and Annie were awkwardly sitting on the couch. Annie looked around the small apartment. Annie, I wonder, who's that handsome boy to YN? Rex, stop calling others man handsome in front of your boyfriend. Annie, maybe he's her roommate. Rex, I don't think so. The way he was worried about her yesterday. I'm sure he's someone very close to her. Annie, maybe he's her brother. Rex, or her boyfriend, Taehyung. Husband, I'm her husband, he said while walking in with the tray of snacks. Y was behind him. Rex and Annie stood up. Annie, thank God you're fine. I was worried about you. Rex, we brought you today's notes. Thank you so much. You guys are such a sweetheart, she said with a bright smile. Rex, we should leave now. No wait, please have lunch with us. Rex, no, it's okay. I'll be very upset if you left right now. Right, Taehyung, huh? She hit him with her elbow secretly. Taehyung, yes, please join us, Annie, if you insist. Taehyung and went to the kitchen. Rex, why did you agree? Annie, I'm hungry. Rex roll his eyes, and I'm upset. Rex, and why are you upset? Annie, is married. Rex, so? Annie, I thought she could date my brother Noah. Rex, that brat, he'll never get a girl. Annie, you're mean. How can you say this about him? Noah and could make a good couple. They kept talking, not knowing this apartment is very small, and their each and every word is audible to and Taehyung. Taehyung glared at his wife. Stop glaring at me, she whispered. Taehyung, who's Noah? I don't know. Taehyung, I don't like this sweet friend of yours. They're just talking. Why are you taking things seriously? Taehyung, 'cause whatever they're talking is not a normal conversation. She literally wants you, my wife, to date her brother. Chuckle and ruffle his hair. Stop being possessive. I'm the mother of your two babies, who'll date me. She pecked his cheeks and walk away. Lunch was a messy affair. Taehyung, still struggling with his cooking skills, had managed to burn the bottom of the rice and underseason the soup. Didn't dare say anything, fearing his fragile confidence would shatter. Also tried to make some side dishes but guess she failed as well. We're not good at cooking, so you might not like it. Annie, this is delicious, she lied brightly. After taking a massive spoonful of soup, Rex coughed discreetly, covering his mouth with a napkin. Rex, yeah, it's 10 times better than Annie's cooking. At least you didn't pour the whole container of salt in the food. Annie, that was an accident, she said, feeling embarrassed. Rex, yeah, everything is an accident, he teased. Annie, but the food is good. I like it. Taehyung, thank you, he said, though he eyed his own bowl suspiciously. Annie turned her attention to Annie, you know, Noah is coming back to town next month. He's an artist, super creative, and he's really good with his hands. He could totally help you with decorating your apartment, if you want. She spoke very quickly, trying to slip the suggestion in. Smiled sweetly. That's so thoughtful, Annie, but I'm lucky enough to have a very handy husband. She laced her fingers with Taehyung's under the table, giving his hand a squeeze. Annie, oh, she said, deflated, picking at a thick slice of carrot. She then lowered her voice, leaning closer to Rex. Annie, Rex, he could still be a friend, right? Noah needs creative friends. Rex sighed, rubbing his temples. Rex, Annie, stop it, they're married. You need to drop the matchmaker act. Annie, it's just that is so nice, and Noah is so available. Taehyung, we can hear you, he said flatly, not even looking up from his bowl. Annie gasped and sat bolt upright. Annie, oh, I am so sorry. We didn't realize. Gently touched Taehyung's arm. It's okay, Taehyung. Annie just has a big personality. She looked at Annie with a forgiving smile. I'm sure your brother is lovely, but honestly, I don't think I'll have time for any new friends soon. I'm going to be really busy. Annie, busy with what? She asked. Hesitated, not ready to tell everyone the news yet. Just busy with work and getting settled. Rex quickly jumped in to change the subject. Rex, so Taehyung, are you studying? Taehyung swallowed a mouthful of rice. Taehyung, yeah, I'm studying business in Elveris University. Annie, that's the University of Intelligent and Rich Kids, she exclaimed, instantly forgetting about Noah. Annie, you must be very intelligent and rich, right? Taehyung, no, I'm not rich. I'm studying there in full free scholarship, he admitted, a slight flush rising on his neck. Annie, wow, you're very smart and hardworking. YRN watched the exchange, her expression softening. Annie's genuine excitement managed to wash away some of the awkwardness she created. Annie, by the way, YRN, can you give me your contact number? I wanted to call you yesterday to ask about your health, but I couldn't. YN, sure. Annie took out her phone. Taehyung noticed it was wrapped with tape. She understood his look and quickly explained. Annie, actually, I dropped my phone accidentally. She said this with an awkward smile, and to make things more awkward, her phone didn't turn on. Annie, my phone isn't working. Rex, can you save Ryan's number on your phone? Rex nodded and took out his phone. His phone was also wrapped with tape. YN and Taehyung looked at each other. Rex, she accidentally dropped me with my phone, he explained. Taehyung sighed. That explained why Rex had a band-aid on his head. Annie was silently eating her lunch, but a fly kept disturbing her. She tried to shoo it with her hands, but it came back again. Annie got angry and threw her fork, aiming for the fly, but Taehyung was sitting in front of her. He saw a fork flying towards him, aiming to stab his eyes directly. He quickly bent down, and his eyes were saved by mere inches. Everyone's eyes widened. YRN, are you okay? She panicked. Taehyung, yeah, I think I am. Annie, I'm so sorry, she stammered. Rex hid his face in embarrassment. After lunch, they didn't wait long. They left, but while going back, Annie bumped into the table again, and this time Rex couldn't save the flower vase. It shattered on the floor. They said sorry multiple times and left. Taehyung, you're not hanging out with that girl, he yelled while picking up the broken pieces from the floor. YRN bit her lower lip nervously. YRN, but she's a sweet girl, Taehyung, and that sweet girl almost made me blind. Did you see her boyfriend? That poor boy is full of bandages. YN, I will be careful around her. Taehyung, no, you're not staying around her, he declared, and he walked outside to throw the broken pieces of the vase. YRN pouted. Taehyung took his backpack and pecked YN's lips. It's time for him to go to work. YN, all the best, she said with a small smile. Taehyung nodded and slipped out the door, giving YRN a quick, reassuring wave. Taehyung stood in front of the full-length mirror, adjusting the oversized, slightly dusty teddy bear costume. It was already heavy, the air inside stuffy and hot. He took a deep breath, for the babies, for YRN. The next few hours were a brutal shock. The suit, initially just heavy, quickly became an oven under the late afternoon sun. He had to stand and sway constantly, performing clumsy dance moves to attract children. The air vents were nearly non-existent, and the thick, synthetic fur trapped all the heat. Sweat instantly plastered the suit to his skin. He tried to keep his energy up, forcing himself to bounce and wave. Children, a never-ending stream, tugged on his legs, demanding high fives and photos. One particularly aggressive toddler hit him in the leg with a stick, and another poured the last drops of a sticky, sugary drink on his foot. The worst part was the sheer exhaustion. Every movement was a massive effort, and the constant smell of old sweat and synthetic fabric was nauseating. He kept glancing at the clock tower across the park. The hours moved with agonizing slowness. His legs ached, his head pounded from dehydration, and the forced cheerfulness became a painful mask. By 7 p.m., when his shift was officially over, the manager asked him to stay an extra 2 hours because of a late rush. Taehyung nodded, defeated, thinking of the $80. He informed YRN that he'll be late and dragged himself through the extension, his body moving on autopilot, powered only by sheer willpower. He didn't make it home until 10 p.m. Taehyung opened the door and slowly, heavily, stepped inside. The apartment was warm, and the delicious smell of a home-cooked meal instantly hit him. He blinked, trying to clear the sweat and exhaustion from his eyes. YRN was waiting for him. She was sitting at the dining table, the simple meal of rice and soup laid out for two. Her eyes immediately went to his face, noticing the deep red flush of heat exposure and the raw fatigue pulling at his eyes. She quickly got up and rushed over to him, her soft smile already in place. YRN, I made dinner for you, she said, her voice gentle. Taehyung dropped his bag and leaned against the doorframe, guilt immediately replacing his physical pain. Taehyung, I am sorry I couldn't come back early and you had to make dinner. YRN, Hey, it's okay. At least let me cook for you, she insisted, taking his hand and leading him toward the sink. He stopped, his eyes widening as he looked at the two place settings. Taehyung, Y or N, did you not eat yet? She avoided his gaze. Y or N, well, no. He turned on the faucet, running cool water over his hands. Taehyung, you need to eat on time. You're feeding 3 people now, remember? You can't skip meals. YN, I know, but I only wanted to eat with you. The simple, honest confession melted the last of his irritation. He pulled her into a tired hug, burying his face in her hair. Taehyung, I love you. Now, let me wash up. After a quick change into soft clothes, they sat down and ate the simple meal in comfortable silence. Once they were done, they moved to the bed, collapsing against the pillows. Taehyung pulled Y or N close, resting his chin on the top of her head, the warmth of her body, the faint scent of her shampoo. It was the antidote to the day's misery. They fell asleep instantly, tangled together, escaping the heat and the stress in the safe haven of a loving embrace. The next day, Taehyung found himself wandering around the university campus. Since he didn't have classes yet, he was trying to familiarize himself with the new environment. He stopped in front of the large baseball field. The team was practicing, and the sharp crack of the bat echoed across the field. Taehyung stood there, watching the boys play. He let out a deep, painful sigh. This was his world just a few months ago. He was the baseball captain at his previous college, a legend on the field. His hands twitched, remembering the familiar weight of the bat. Jungkook, the current captain, noticed Taehyung standing alone. A cruel smirk touched his lips. This was the perfect moment for petty revenge, a chance to show the newcomer who ruled this campus. The pitcher wound up and released the ball. Jungkook gripped his bat hard. He swung with all his strength, deliberately aiming the fastball not toward the outfield, but directly at Taehyung's head, intending to break his nose. But Jungkook didn't know he was dealing with the champion of the game. Taehyung's body moved before his mind registered the danger. His hand shot out, bare and steady, and he caught the ball perfectly, the impact stinging his palm, but the ball staying put. It was an effortless, fluid motion that spoke of thousands of hours of practice. Taehyung stared at the ball for a moment, then tossed it casually to the ground and walked away, his face expressionless. Coach Kim Namjoon, who had been watching from the dugout, was stunned. He was deeply impressed by the transfer student's lightning-fast reflexes and perfect catch. Jungkook, however, could only clench his jaw, his plan humiliated. After classes, Taehyung dropped Wire and home and immediately left for work. The moment he put the heavy teddy bear costume back on, a wave of dread washed over him. Today, the weather was exceptionally hot, and the suit felt like a suffocating blanket. He worked for hours, his body screaming in protest. The heat was intolerable, pooling the sweat until it felt like he was standing in a puddle. Every wave and clumsy dance move felt like lifting weights. Finally, during a lull in the crowd, Taehyung couldn't take it anymore. He ripped the heavy costume head off, letting the air, even the hot, humid park air, hit his face. He leaned back against the fake castle wall, wiping the sweat from his forehead with the back of his palm. His chest heaved as he sat down under the sparse shade of a tree, just for a moment. Just then, the manager appeared, his face tight with anger. Taehyung quickly scrambled to his feet, holding the heavy bear head awkwardly. "Manager, what are you doing?" he barked, making Taehyung flinch. "Taehyung, I was tired, so." "Manager, so?" he snapped, cutting him off sharply. Taehyung swallowed hard and looked down at his feet. "Taehyung, no one was coming right now, so I decided to sit." "Manager, and who are you to decide, huh? You think this is your break time? Do you think the theme park pays you to sit around?" "Taehyung, I was feeling extremely hot inside the costume, so I took it off for a while." Taehyung's voice was barely a whisper. The manager sneered. "Manager, I don't want to hear any excuses. Earning money isn't easy, kid. If you want money to feed your family, you work. You think you can just stand here and look pretty? Get back to the entrance, lazy kid." He spoke with brutal, mocking contempt. Taehyung could only nod, his head bowed. The manager walked away, leaving Taehyung standing there, humiliated, the weight of the costume and the weight of his desperation crushing him. He slowly put the heavy head back on, the world immediately shrinking to a small, dark, sweating space. Taehyung finally got home late that night, long after the city had gone quiet. He was so exhausted he could barely lift his feet. As he walked in, Y was waiting. She took one look at his face, the raw weariness in his eyes, the slumped shoulders, the sheer utter defeat radiating from him, and she immediately understood. She didn't ask what was wrong. She just walked over, cupped his face in her small, warm hands, and smiled softly. YN, bad day. Taehyung couldn't speak. He just nodded, his eyes closing. Leaning into her gentle touch, YN pulled him close, holding him tightly as he buried his face in her neck. YN, I make a new dish today, and trust me, it was actually good. You'll like it. Taehyung broke the hug and looked at her. Taehyung, I'll go and change my clothes, he said in a dry voice. YN nodded with a smile. After he washed up, they sat together in bed. He ate the dinner she saved for him. YN, you know today Annie fall from her bicycle and injured her hand. Taehyung immediately looked up. Taehyung, I told you do stay away from her. YN, I tried but she kept running behind me. Actually Rex said no one wants to be friends with her as she's dangerously clumsy, and being an extrovert girl she just wants friends. She feels genuinely happy when I hang out with her. Taehyung, I don't want you to get hurt. YN, I know, but trust me, Annie is very careful around me. She told Taehyung about what silly and funny things Rex and Annie did today to make his mood light, but the tired and sadness in his eyes are too stubborn to go. Then he slowly told her everything that happened today. After dinner, sitting on the bed, staring blankly ahead, YN sat beside him and gently took his rough, calloused hands in hers. She felt the slight trembling and brought them to her lips, pressing a soft kiss to his knuckles. YN, don't think about it anymore, my love, she murmured, her voice like a lullaby. YN, you are not a lazy kid. You are the most hardworking, kindest man I know. That manager doesn't know you. He doesn't know that today, in that stuffy, hot suit, you were a hero to me and our babies. He turned to her, his tired eyes meeting hers. Taehyung, but it was so hard. YN, and the humiliation. That man was so cruel. I feel like I'm failing. She wrapped her arms around his waist, resting her head on his chest. YN, no, never. You left your old life, your comfort, and your pride to make sure we are safe and fed. That's not failure. That's the purest form of love. She looked up, tracing the line of his jaw. YN, that fancy college degree, that baseball trophy, they never defined you. This right here, your willingness to wear a sweaty bear costume for us. This is what makes you the best man in the world. A small, genuine smile finally touched his lips. Taehyung, you always know what to say. YN, just the truth, she whispered, pecking his cheek. YN, now, stop thinking about mean managers and clenched-jawed baseball players. You are home, and there's no room for any of that stress here. She snuggled closer. YN, tell me one fun thing that happened today. Did a little kid try to ride you? He chuckled softly. Taehyung, they did. A tiny girl kept patting my big foam nose. It actually made me smile. YN, see, you brought a smile to a child's face, and you came home to me. She said, her fingers stroking the back of his neck. YN, that's a perfect day. Taehyung, a perfect day. He closed his eyes, pulling her tighter. He felt the soft, familiar comfort of her body, and the silent, profound promise of the life growing inside her. The exhaustion was still there, but the pain had finally faded. Taehyung, thank you, my strength, I love you so much, he murmured against her hair. YN, I love you too, my teddy bear. In the safe haven of their small bed, they fell asleep quickly, the rhythmic beat of their hearts a soothing promise that they would face the next day, together.